in the transfer market. Goncalo Guedes has gone back to Benfica, probably our worst ever signing, and Craig Dawson's come in, which is boring. I think the Guedes one's more interesting. From a personal point of view, I'll hold the L on this one. I got this one wrong twice. I remember when we signed him, I actually thought it was quite a good signing for a number of reasons. I was wrong, hence the fact he's going out on loan after being our fourth most expensive signing. And I kind of defended him a lot on Twitter as well, about his work ethic mainly. And yeah, I was wrong about that. I can hold an L. I'm not like some people on Twitter. But yeah, I got this one wrong, man. Like with Guedes, when you look at our most expensive signings, even with, let's say, Fabio Silva, right, gets a lot of stick, Fabio, but you can make an argument to why this could be a good signing. You can. Look, Raul Jimenez, in hindsight, was a bad signing. No, sorry, not a bad signing. It was probably overpriced because there's no resale value or whatever, but the club weren't to know that with the head injury. Semedo, whether you like him or not, he's been okay. He's served a purpose. Even Adama Traore, I get loads of stick from people on Twitter because I have an agenda against Adama Traore. Look, we paid 18 million quid for him and we've got 5 years use out of him. I don't think he's been great for the majority of that, but he's still paid back his price tag, even if we don't really get a lot back for him. Guedes has probably been, I mean, look, we could get money back in the summer. I think the reason a lot of people are surprised Guedes has gone on a loan with no option to buy, I actually think that's the correct decision from the club. And I also think sending him to Benfica is a good move. It's a club he knows in a very easy league. And even though Guedes has been bad, like his numbers in the Premier League, they're woeful in basically every metric. But anyone that's watched him can tell you that. But I think sending him to Benfica is the correct thing. Send him to an easy league where he'll stat pad and probably score loads of goals. And then in the summer, you can sell him to a more lucrative league, let's put it like that. Maybe to another Premier League club who takes a punt, maybe one of the top bigger La Liga clubs, whatever. Maybe to Liga, wherever it is. And you can make more of your money back. If you put an option to buy for like 15 million quid and he kills it, obviously Benfica will take that up. So I don't really see the point in putting an option to buy that's quite low. You might as well just wait. And even if he is good, Benfica, and we do want to sell him to Benfica, you can just sell him there anyway. But the reason I was wrong about Guedes is I defended his attitude a lot on Twitter. A lot of people were telling me like, oh, like he looks really lazy, he's not arsed. And I don't like saying that about players a lot because I do think people have different body language. And some people can come across lazy when they're not. And I remember in the Gillingham game, I think it was, I was at that game and I watched Guedes for like 10 minutes. I was just watching him because the game is boring as fuck anyway, let's be honest. And I could understand why people thought he was lazy, but equally he just wasn't getting the ball and he's an attacker. So I could understand why he was getting frustrated. But the fact that Lopetegui bombed him out basically instantly does suggest people were right. And I don't know, maybe I had some bias or something, I don't know. But like, I didn't really see that Guedes was that lazy, but clearly he was. Well, I could see that he was lazy, but I didn't think it was as bad as people made out. And like people were telling me, like, trust me, I'm at the games every week, I can see it. I didn't, so I got that one wrong. Again, I can hold an L like some people, like some people. And in terms of, and not even just in terms of his body language and stuff, like the club can't, when the club bought Guedes, they're probably looking at it and going, it's a step up to the Premier League. He'll probably embrace that move. Maybe they could have done some background checks or something. I don't know, but I think it's very hard for the club to predict his attitude because I don't really think it's ever been an issue in any other point in his career. So I don't really blame the club too much for that. But in terms of his numbers, I think I remember when we were linked with Guedes in Bruno Lage's first season, and I remember saying, "Don't buy him. It's a stupid idea. He's 25 and his numbers are getting worse." And then obviously a season later when we bought Guedes, his numbers went up because he played a second striker for a year and his numbers they shot up and he had I guess you could maybe say it's a purple patch, I don't know. So then when we spent, what was it? Was it 30 mil? When we spent $32 million on him, so what, 27 million quid or whatever it was. I think I got blinded by that one good season where his output went up. I think in my head as well, he'd known Bruno Lage. It's Bruno Lage's big signing. He clearly wanted him. Maybe it was that, but I think I got distracted by the fact he had one season playing as a second striker and kind of ignored all his other numbers, which I don't normally do. So yeah, I got that one. Guedes was just an L for the club. He's an L for me, which I'll have to hold. But yeah, look, I don't know what his attitude was like, but I assume it was bad, which is why Lopetegui's bombed him out. And fair play for the club for backing that. And all we can do now is hope Guedes does well at Benfica, and then we can flog him and kind of get our money back, and then just forget about it. Because if we lose money on this, it probably is the worst signing in our history. Up there, I think Catroni's probably the worst. At least Catroni seemed like a nice bloke, but Catroni for 18 million is bad, like really bad. But Guedes is running it pretty close. And then Craig Dawson, I don't really have much to say about Craig Dawson. It's boring. I don't actually think Craig Dawson's as good as people make out. Like when you look at West Ham fans like chatting about him, like I mean, I've watched quite a lot of West Ham, like I'm sure all you lot have. Don't worry, he's had good games, but I've never looked at him and gone, wow, he's underrated or anything. I think he's a perfectly competent Premier League centre back. I think he'll be fine. Obviously he's a good guy off the pitch, apparently, which I don't know about. I've never met the guy, but apparently he's a good guy off the pitch. And if he's just come in to be a Collins Kilman backup, no issue. If he's coming to be a starter, I'd rather just let Nathan Collins develop, personally. Those are Craig Dawson's numbers if you want. I don't really care about his numbers. Centre-backs are so hard to judge on numbers anyway. I don't think you should judge centre-backs on numbers a lot of the time. A lot of the time, centre-back numbers are just based on the system you play in. But look, Craig Dawson's fine. I don't really care about the fact he used to play for West Brom. I don't really see why that's an issue, to be honest. He's upgrading coming to us. It's not like he's some West Brom legend. But look, he scores goals. He's an experienced Premier League centre-back. He's a good guy. And it's a cheap fee, so who cares? But I'm not excited by this. I think it's fine. But yeah, that's all I have to say on Craig Dawson. And Guedes is an L. But you know what? I can hold my L. I will admit I was wrong about his work rate / attitude and about just signing him in general. So all of you lot that called that, fair play, because I didn't. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, peace.